Ladies and gentlemen, the 12th game of the World Chess Championships 2023 just ended. Won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but this game was called a blunderfest by International Super Mega Grandmaster Nakamura, and others pointed to some big mistakes that the players made. So perhaps one could say, I haven't analyzed the game, but maybe they played it around the 1700 level in that match, or there were definitely moves that were 1700 level. Now, I'm a 900 around on chess.com. I actually think I'm probably around 1100, 1200, but I basically stopped playing human opponents a few months ago because I was getting aggravated. But I've beaten most of the bots that are on the free thing. Pretty much beaten them, all of them, 3 stars. But then I started working my way up the engine, and I had no problem beating like 1100, 1200, 13, 14, 1500, 1600. Then I got to 1700, which is engine level 13, and I got really stuck for whatever reason, and been trying for several days to beat it. And I finally did. So I wanted to share that match with you because it was actually a quick, I think, 21 move checkmate. Now with this bot that's 1700, I had a lot of games where it was pretty even, and then it would get me in the end game, or I would have a late blunder. But I didn't see it making many blunders. I didn't run much analysis on it, but I didn't see many big blunders in general. But this one wiped it out. 84% accuracy, a brilliant move, a great move, 0 blunders, only 1 miss, only 1 mistake. So let's take a look at the match here real quick. So with the white, I generally will play the London, sometimes the Queen's Gambit nowadays, currently. And with the black, I like to play the HIkaru. Now, if they play the D4, then sometimes I play the Slav with the black, but I'm also sort of looking for another repertoire maybe there. And that's from, videos, particular Alex Banzea, the Romanian with the accent. His videos are really good, and he's gotten better and better and funnier and funny, so I do recommend those other than the normal GothamChess troll. No, I enjoy Gotham. So anyway, let's take a look at the match. So open up with the Queen's pawn to D4. They follow up with the D. Now with the London, you can either move this out, the bishop out quickly, or the knight. And I think the knight's more flexible because then you don't have to go straight into this. This sort of shows your opponent what you are doing. But I was just trying different things against this computer because I couldn't beat it. So I went in and moved the bishop out immediately. They moved the knight out. Then I moved the knight out. So this is sort of the classic beginning of the London. And the computer was doing different things every game. It didn't do this in previous games, I don't believe. It went ahead and brought its black bishop out to pin me. Although it's not even close to a pin because my pawn hasn't moved yet. I think NEPO might have done, somebody might have done this in the World Chess Championship actually. But so here I decided to go with the pawn this way. And one thing that I got from Alex Banzea and some others, he's like, and generally on the lower levels, like 1500 and below, in general, always take towards the center with your pawns. Because sometimes I'll be worried about protecting this H rank with the castle. But they said in general, you're better off doing it that way. Anyway, I just decided to go ahead and boot it right away. Well, he went for the exchange right away. So again, following that principle, I took towards the middle. So I've doubled up pawns there, empty file here, but I can get that onto there. Empty G file already. I moved pawn out, so I completed my dark square pawn line there. They threatened the bishop this way. Again, this isn't the way the computer had normally been playing, but it was doing a different system, I guess. So here, you can move the bishop to there, do an exchange, move it here. Generally, see, they already took my knight. They already got rid of one of their bishops, which is another unusual thing for the computer because their bishops are extremely dangerous in the endgame, and they usually trade off their knights, not their bishops. I actually don't think I noticed this quite yet, but I did eventually. And I was playing this pretty quickly. I wasn't sitting there for a long time like Ling, like Ding, thinking about moves. I played this pretty quickly with obviously no aids on. And that is an interesting move because it hits that and that. The thing with the London is if you have the knight on here, then getting the knight there creates problems, especially in real life. Not as much for the computer sometimes, but when if you can get the knight there and then you have the knight here, and then you usually bring the bishop out to here is actually apparently the best spot in general. But this has already been sort of wrecked from a normal London or altered quite a bit. They attack this bishop a lot in general, and you have to be willing to exchange it off the dark squared one and then do damage with the light square. But in this case, they did a rapid exchange. Anyway, I decided to go ahead and withdraw it all the way to here and say, well, I got this long diagonal. Just trying different things out. I brought a pawn out. Again, like I said, from what I've been seeing in videos and whatnot, you can move the bishop to here. Here, in this case, you can't pin it because of the pawn. But D3 has been mentioned. The computer thought that was an accuracy, so they're doing a pawn push on the king side quickly in this one. I closed the pawn triangle before bringing out the knight to there. Generally, the knight's going to want to go there, and then it protects the knight on G. That's connected to the knight on G3, and also in this case gives more protection to the D4 square. They brought their bishop out, targeting this. Well, I have nowhere to go, so I had to decide. I had to decide if I want to move something else and let it take it, and then move my rook up, which would mess up my potential castling. Although at this point I was already, leaning to castling that way if I could. The computer's really good at stopping you from castling in general. But I went ahead and decided to take it, and that got rid of both their bishops. So by turn 10, they had given up both their bishops. That's really unusual for the computer. This 13 level 1700 one. I brought out the knight development to D2. They castled normally. So it doesn't look like I have any big advantage here. Now here I went ahead. A lot of times in a lot of systems, going for the F4 and E4 with your pawns quickly those spots are key, but also sometimes getting there quickly. And obviously, what I calculated here was I have a whole bunch of on that square, and that's another thing with the Londons. If this square E5 becomes unavailable, sometimes the backup is this E4 square because of the knight on that. So I went and attacked. They didn't retake. They moved out their pawn. Now notice this too with the computer. All their pawns are already out. That's pretty unusual too for them to be doing pawn pushes and leaving this exposed, because if you listen to some of the experts, they'll be like, pawns can't go backwards, and you can leave yourself exposed if that's too open. Now I decided to go ahead and move the queen out here, and this I was debating. I wanted to get the queen out to possibly castle on this side. I could go there, or there, and there, also there. I think I decided, well, he's castled over there. Let me just see what I can do, and this provides more protection to the D4 square for the time being, and I can always withdraw out, or if I need to. Nonetheless, I went ahead and did that. They said that was the best move. He brought his knight out connecting. So here I didn't have a whole lot of really good moves I liked at this time. I couldn't move there. That sort of weakens things because he's got this square guarded pretty well. That was another one I was looking at. But what I decided to do was go ahead and move this knight out to here. The knights sometimes get stuck against the computer with the London, or in general. Sometimes the knights get stuck back, and maybe I think I was just wanting to get it moving and possibly looking at an exchange there. And they're saying, I guess their computer's saying I should have long castle. But one key thing with the bots, not necessarily in real life, but with the bots. Sometimes the longer you wait to castle, it messes up the bots. I'm not sure if that works against real life people with much higher rating, but sometimes, and I think that might have been one of the keys to this. So let's see. Let's get back to where we were. So I brought the knight out to there, an unusual square for it. Early ops. So he brought the queen down, and I didn't see any immediate things other than him, going to gobble some pawns. But I started to see, stuff going on over here. That was a safe square for that. That's an exchange square, and there's not much going on over here. He actually long castled, didn't he? He long castled, which is unusual for the computer too. And he pushed all his this side pawns. That's unusual for this bot. So I went ahead and moved the knight into c5. Going, well, that square, he can't get to it, and it's a dangerous square. Look at that. And then this covers these with the queen here lurking. And this was his big blunder. He had two in a row. I actually did have one big one, but he went ahead and took this down here, threatening this or threatening that with a check. And I knew that was bad, but I was like, I want to go in for an attack here. So I ignored that, and I sacked the bishop. And again, I wasn't playing this super fast. I mean, I wasn't playing this super slow. Another thing about this I noticed was it didn't allow me to castle this way, and this way is wide open. So I was like, damn it, screw him. I'm going to do this because I know that that the knight here or the knight there with this is very dangerous in the corner and can produce checkmates. So I went ahead and sacked the bishop. At this point, let's see. He's got I've got both his bishops. He's got a pawn and a bishop. I mean, a pawn, bishop, and a knight. So I got rid of my second bishop there. And they were saying that's a brilliant move, sacking. Sometimes the computer also says sacking things is, but in this case it was. Now he gobbled the rook when he was in danger here and needed to. If you see what the bar did, the bar actually jumped on that. If I believe if I saw that move. I'm not sure if there were other moves. So he took the rook, and I'm in check, and I'm like, well, I'm going for it. I know he's going to get that now. So I moved the king out. I'm not sure if that was if it gave me that as a great move because that was the best square, or not 100% sure, but it gave me a great move on that. He took my rook. So he's gobbling the rooks. He's got a 10-point material advantage right now. But he had a blind spot for a checkmate. Because I did see this, putting him in check and going, well, he doesn't have many places left, and these two aren't in the right spots to cover things. And the queen, I think it's because of the long castle, the king, excuse me, can't escape to there either. That was his only move. Now, right here, I thought I had a checkmate, but somehow I missed it. And this was the checkmate. It was pretty obvious. And this is what happens to me in real life sometimes. I do miss the one-move checkmates, which is one of the reasons I stopped playing it. I knew I had one, but somehow I missed it. So I said, well, this is going to be a forced or close to a checkmate soon. I didn't see any way for him to prevent that. But if I had done that, I was still way ahead. But with proper play, I would have gotten his queen in a few moves, I think. But the computer with two rooks versus my queen probably would have ended up beating me. So this was a really bad move. So really I had checkmate on turn 20. Because this is checkmate. And I was setting up the whole thing, so it's so obvious. It's amazing I missed it. But what I went and did was that, going, well, as soon as I move this, it's a forced, it's a discovered check. He moved out, and there I checked him. There he moved there, and this time I did see the checkmate. So that was on move 21. They gave me a 1600 rating. Brilliant opening, mid-game accuracy 78, opening accuracy 97. They gave me a 1600. They said the computer only played as 1100, so the computer played well below his. So he had a very bad game, but. pretty satisfying to finally beat the level 13 one. I know, like I said, I've beaten 2,000 bots. I think I've beaten 2,200 bots on there with a lot of practice. But this time, this 1,700 one stymied me for quite a while, and finally beat it with a London that got quickly. I had to adapt quickly because I couldn't play my normal things. Him doing that was unusual for the computer. And him sacking both his bishops this fast, or swapping both his bishops this fast, the computer, is very unusual too. But getting that, and then also him long castling is unusual. Him pushing his kingside pawns all the way out and leaving it exposed. But the computer did what he did, and he got so blinded by wanting that he could gobble up both my rooks that he missed a checkmate. Because when you have these three over in the corner and just some pawns, and these aren't quite matching on the right squares, then it's there. So victory for the 900 over the inevitable computer takeover of chess. And I'm not sure if NEPO would have blundered like this. He might have, or Ding, the way they played the latest match. I'm just kidding, of course. But anyway, thank you very much for checking out my video. Please like, subscribe, and comment so my videos get seen more people. I do show some entertaining chess ones in terms of Blunderfest or whatnot, and a lot of stuff for lower level people like me. And again, thanks for checking out. Have a good one.